Okay, there we are. It's definitely working, and we are going to get on with trying to make an Otyugh. Basically a monster that is a garbage disposal monster. Yes, how's it going, Jack? Welcome to the live stream. Another one of those days where we try to make monsters. So I'm just going to pop out my earplugs because I can tell the sound is coming through fine. That's good. And otherwise I can hear the reverberation. It's not really very good for me, not very good for you. The light will change. How's it going, Otyugh? Oh my gosh. Yo, how's it going? Man, you're going to have to help me with the pronunciation of your name through this live stream. Anyway, let's get started. I'll go through the basics and we'll go from there. Hi, welcome to How to D&D. My name is Fred Wheeler, and today we're going to make a monster. So we're going to make a cheap Dungeons and Dragons monster. We're going to try to make the Otyugh. Is that pronounced the correct way? I have no idea, but somebody in the chat will correct me, I'm sure. So my plan was this would be a series of videos because it's not a small project. I feel like it's definitely going to take more than one video, and I don't want to try and make a video that's 5 hours long. So that would be silly, so it'll do it in parts and then leave it to dry, come back and work on it at a later date. So that's the plan. But today we're going to get started with it. Now all of the materials that you require for this project are going to be down in the description. Everything that I do and use, all the tools, all the materials, they're all there. And if they're not there, you let me know if I've excluded anything, and I will make sure that they go in there, as I always do. Okay, so we're going to make this particular beastie, and this particular beastie is really, he's like the garbage disposal of Dungeons and Dragons. Lies in wait, it's a predator, and basically just eats everything and anything. So a really cool monster, but actually an incredibly difficult miniature to find. If you actually want this miniature, trying to get one is actually very, very difficult. So we're just going to make it, and we're going to make it out of some pretty simple stuff. So let's get started, and I'll show you basically what I have planned for you today. Okay, there we go, and I'm just going to make sure that everything is lined up. Good, there we are. I've got my sunglasses on because I'm kind of getting blinded by the light here. So, first off, the miniature that we're trying to duplicate is this thing. Now, I got this out of the Dungeons and Dragons board game. It's got 3 tentacle thingies. One of these has got 3 eyes on it, and the other one has got little spiky things for grabbing and hanging on to things. It's got some teeth, it's got a tongue, and it's got 3 legs. And it's essentially quite just a round creature. So what we're going to use is a number of items that I think will be useful for the main structure, and then we're going to build from there. Now, I'm not going to be playing any music because it would just be royalty-free music, so put on your own music if you don't want to listen to my voice and you just want to watch. Or you can chat along with me about Dungeons and Dragons or all sorts of things. It really doesn't matter. Okay. Alright, so first off, the things that you're going to need to make this. We're going to use mothballs. So wooden mothballs. I've used these a few times, and I feel like the main structure at the back, the mothball is perfect for this. So yet again, we're going to grab another mothball. I've used, well, this will be the 3rd one now. Really handy so far. Okay, next we're going to need a bit of tin foil or aluminum foil or aluminium foil. It's basically just, you know, what you wrap your meat with or your vegetables when you're cooking. So you'll need a few sheets of this to actually do the construction. We're going to use paper clips. Now I've used, these are paper clips that are quite thick, more useful to me because they're stronger, therefore that's why I want to use them. So paper clips. We're also going to be using some wire just in case. This is thinner gauge, something that is suitable for sort of bending around when I need to actually join something up. So we're using that as well. We're going to be using glue sticks to glue a lot of stuff together, so you'll need some spare glue sticks. If you don't have any, grab some. We're obviously going to be using a glue gun at some point, which is why I've got my glue gun out. I haven't plugged it in yet. I'll burn myself later. I've got myself a knife just for cutting things and trimming. This is the Stanley Classic, but you could use pretty much anything you like. I've also got a Stanley long nose plier just for twisting the paper clips around. Otherwise I'm going to try and do it with my fingers. It's not very nice. I'm going to be using, in terms of the sculpting side of things, I'm going to be using the Otyugh sculpting tools that I normally use. So we'll pull out the one that I use the most, so it's ready to go. And we're also going to be using a Otyugh drill. This is really quite handy. I've found this incredibly useful. Therefore, this is the drill for me. And inside I have the right size drill bit waiting for me. Well, it should be anyway. There it is. I believe that is the correct size for what I'll be doing today. And if it's not, then I'll change it out. But essentially, that's what we're going to need in terms of our toolage. We'll also be using some milliput. This is 2-mix putty. It's really cheap. It dries really hard. You don't have to put it in the oven or anything like that. I've got a bunch of toothpicks because we're going to use that for teeth and probably for its tentacle grabby things. And what else? Oh, we've got a miniature base. I've got a large size miniature base. These are from the miniature bases that I made a little while ago, so it's the right size. And is that everything? Oh, I've also got myself a cork because I think with this particular project I might need to sort of jam it onto something before I stick it onto the base, just to sort of get things going. I've also brought with me some green stuff, which is a bit more expensive than the milliput, but I will use it only if absolutely necessary. This stuff dries a lot faster, and with this weather it's probably going to be less useful to me. And it's also significantly more expensive, which is why I tend not to use it too often. Okay, alright, so let's get started. The first thing I want to do is just get the base of it. The plan is, because it's got 3 legs, I'm going to drill 3 holes in the underneath of this wooden ball, and then 3 holes in the top, along the top surface in a line. I'm going to make the position of the holes underneath for the legs in slightly random, unusual places, but I need to stay away from the front area where I need to create like a mouth section. Okay, let's just check what we've got here. Let's pull that out and make sure I have I believe it is the largest drill bit. These paper clips are awesome because they are just the right gauge for the work that I do. Can I call this work? It's not really work. I don't think it's called work. No, we won't call it work. It's called fun, right? Fun. Okay, so this drill bit should be the right size. I'm just checking it now. It is. And we will just tighten it up. Now I use the Otyugh drill because it just looked like it was more durable and more useful and less sort of tinny compared to some of the other products that are on the market. But it's really up to you. There are other ways of drilling holes. You don't have to use this thing. Okay. That over there, tuck that out of the way and shuffle that over there. Alright, grab the water. So I think we'll go for roughly over an hour and then I will stop, and that's sort of a good time to sort of break it up. And then also too I can do the videos or the streams in a series. So first what I want to do is I'm going to make a couple of marks on this, decide roughly where I want it to be. I feel like that's a good place, so we'll start at the top. I'm going to use a pencil just to mark the position of my tentacles, like so. And they can be slightly forward on the wooden ball. They don't have to be exactly down the middle. Try to give them a little bit of distance from each other, because that's going to be important to make sure that they don't wind up being meshed together too much. Okay, so now that I've done that, I need to create some position for the legs. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark a couple near the back, so 2 at the back, and then 1 further forward. Okay, so it looks more like, it sort of forms like a triangle, if you can see what I'm talking about. It forms like a triangle. Over here, these marks are all sort of in a straight line. Real simple. And now all we need to do is start drilling some holes. And I want to drill these holes pretty deep, so make sure that you give them a good deep drill out, otherwise it won't be quite as useful to you. So for most of the videos that I've been doing in terms of making miniatures, I think that will continue. I don't know that I'll necessarily do every single monster in the monster manual, for those of you who are wondering, because That's a lot of work, but we'll certainly have a go at doing as many as possible, particularly the ones that you'll struggle to get in a shop or out of any kind of supplier. Right, and as the light shifts, I'll be able to take my sunglasses off. It'll be awesome. Now you'll notice the paper clip when it goes in is there's a little bit of slop. That's to allow for some of the glue to be in that hole as well. Okay, so I've drilled that out, and we'll drill another one. Just like so. It's a pretty simple process. We need a main structure. Ooh, that sounds bad. That sounds really bad. We need a main structure, which is why I tend to go with the wooden balls, because they're a good, strong, solid structure to attach something to. Like so, and again. Yep. Doesn't need to be exact. Problem is you're dealing with somebody who likes being a perfectionist, so I have a lot of trouble not making sure I put everything exactly where I want it to be. And our guide for today are the little pictures that I got sitting alongside the screen where you can see where I'm building. So I've taken these from the miniature. Somebody else has painted that particular miniature, it wasn't me. And also I've pulled the other image from the Dungeons & Dragons 5e Monster Manual. So make all of these holes as deep as possible so that the paper clip is going as far in as possible. What I've found when I'm using the paper clips in the wooden ball is they tend to come loose later on, which is a real drag, and then you have to sort of use hot glue to sort of fix them in place later on. Okay, that's another hole. I'll do the last two in a second, but I'm going to turn my hot glue gun on and start warming it up so it's ready to go to work. Okay, let's keep going. I missed that hole. There we go. There it is. So, what are you guys making today? Are you painting? Are you doing your own crafts? Are you just prepping for your game? What are you guys up to today? Let's see how much progress we get done in one day. I'm hoping to get the main structure done today, but we'll see how we go. Oh. Really handy drill, but still requires a bit of effort on your part. Just don't push. Break the drill bit in there. That'll really make a mess of things. Okay. Alright, so I've got all of my holes. I made a little tidy mess. There's little bits of sawdust everywhere, so I'm going to just clean that out of the way so I can deal with that later. And what I should have done is brought myself a dustpan, but I don't. Didn't bring myself a dustpan, so I'll deal with it later. That's over there. Okay, good. So the next thing I want to do is ditch this, and we're going to straighten out some paper clips. Now, it doesn't mean that they're going to be all straight, but usually what I find is it's easier to work with them once they're straightened out. Once you've got something to straight with, then you bend them into the shape that you want. So how's your day been, Jack? Has it been good? Or has it been a bit quiet? Or are you at work? I know in New Zealand it's Saturday. It's about almost just past 12:30. Where you are, it's probably, well, if you're in North America, it could be anything from Friday, probably a Friday, middle of the day, near the end of the day. Maybe you're sitting in a car. Okay, alright, so what I want to do is I think I'll straighten out about 3 of these. I might need more, but we'll see how we go. Now, because I'll need something to actually attach onto the base with the legs aren't really complicated. There's like two bends. One going in, a bend with the Allen knee is, and then down here I need something to be bent to make the foot, and that's it. So I'll be starting work shortly, so it'll be very interesting to see how I do in terms of my video production. I have tried to set everything up for a series of videos, and a lot of the gear will be set up so when I just come home I just do a quick video and I'm done. Oh, okay, where's my pliers? Let's get my pliers involved. There we go. So, just like that. Alright, so next I'm going to start with the legs, because I feel like the legs are going to be the hardest bit to deal with. And just to check how deep that goes in, it goes pretty deep. And now I just need to bend it. Now if you have a look at the back of this thing, it's the easiest way to deal with this is going to be to bend it out using the wooden ball. Okay, and then once I've done that, then I bend from there. And just grab it with the pliers. Never made one of these before, my first time. And then just bend it over, bend it down. And we can bend it in a little bit. And let's have a look. It's roughly, yeah, it looks alright. And then what have we got in terms of length? Okay, I feel like that's about there, roughly. Cool. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut off, leave a little bit of overlap or a little bit more so I can trim back more if I need to. And then just cut that off. And I know that looks like an awful lot, but don't worry about it. It's not the final result. It's just the beginning. Okay, so that's a leg. Let's grab this and do the whole thing all over again. So that was that leg. Let's do this. Bend it in like so. Hopefully you guys can see. If I'm not showing you and you can't see it because I've positioned the camera incorrectly, you let me know. Okay, I feel like that is roughly about there. Okay, get you back in the hole. Where is it? 1, 2, 3, 4. Go. And bend. Bending down. Okay. Just losing my orientation with this thing a little bit. And then the length, roughly about there. In fact, it probably, as long as I measure it off this, I'm going to get it in about the same place. We were right. Okay, and bend. And trim. And dump that. Cool. Alright, so now it's just the last leg to deal with. And if I can find my little triangle shape, there we go, there it is. Put that in, and then bend it over, or bend it forward, or bend it back. It's really up to you. I think what I will do is, just looking at the leg, I feel like it's kind of gone off to the side a little bit. So that's what we might do, the same thing. And then create the knee, put a bend in there. Okay, good. And then he said, will it work? Okay, so I feel like that is going to look very, very strange, but we'll see how we go. Getting the legs, I knew the legs would be the hardest bit for me to sort out. Which is probably why I'll need to attach them first, but okay, and now trim. Doesn't look like much right now, I realise this. In fact, it looks like nothing. Just looks like a couple of balls, and maybe, well, bits of wire, that's it, nothing else. Right, so first off, we want to glue these in, and we're going to stick the first one in, I believe that one is that side. Okay, and make sure I get the positioning correct is going to be the interesting part. There might be some re-gluing taking place, we'll just see. Stay put, stay, stay. Good. Alright, grab that hot glue gun and just feed it along the edge so we've got some glue on it, and then feed it in the hole. Nice and quick. And just sort of have a quick look at how it's sort of going to be positioned. And it's going to dry, and we'll do the next one, which I believe is this. Same sort of thing. Now you can see the shade is moving across the screen. Eventually it will move completely across, and if it obscures your vision, you let me know. But there won't be an awful lot I can do about it, unfortunately. Okay. So that's that. There needs to be a bit more of a bend in there. Yep. Okay, and it's going to need to be forward a little bit. Oh, that one's backwards. Oh, I might have to re-glue that. We'll not worry about it, we'll see how we go. Okay. I knew this would be the hardest bit to figure out, because it's not really positioned like a normal creature because it's got 3 legs. And again. Feed that in. And just see if we can't. Okay. Alright, so I just need to let that dry, and while that's taking place, I'll prep and plan for the next thing I need to do. Just grab myself a drink of water. So the tentacles themselves aren't that long, so I'm just going to give myself a rough guesstimate of how much length I'll need, and I believe that's going to be up to there, up to there. Okay, so almost all of it. So I'll cut this one about the same length. Maybe just a little bit more over. This one's a lot longer than I need it to be. And trim that off. Okay, now getting the legs positioned on here is the hard part, because it's only a large size base. So I might need to twist and yank things around to get it to work. And also too, I want it to sort of look like the creature that is presented on the with miniature. And if it doesn't, then I want to make some adjustments. Okay, so I think I'm going to bend some of these just a little bit more, so they're a bit further in, like this one here. I'll bend that in just a fraction, which means I'll need to bend these bits over. And we'll check it. Get rid of the bits of wire in the way. Okay. Okay, so that is, I feel like it's a little bit wonky. As I said, man, the legs are going to be the worst part. Okay, that's not too bad. As long as I don't bring everything too far forward, that should be about right. So I just need to do some trimming, and then I can glue that down on it once I'm ready. So we'll take that We'll trim off there. Check it again. I'm going to make the feet much wider than necessary, just so I've got more to glue onto. It's not so much that the feet will actually be that size, it's more that there's more surface area to actually glue to the base. And the front one, I feel like the front one is going to be a slight problem, and that it isn't sort of sitting on the base as much as I'd like. So what we will do is we'll see if we can bend this over just a fraction more. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Oh, unbalanced them. Yeah, yank that around a bit. Okay, so lift that a little bit. Lift that down a bit. Now, when you're doing this, you'll find that your paper clips are going to move and move around, and they won't be secure in the holes. That's all right, because we can fix that. Okay. All right. So I'm going to trim off there. I think that's going to be enough. Just enough, anyway. Certainly, it's stable enough, I feel like. There we go, and retrim. Drop that off. Okay. All right. So we've got our basic structure for our monster. And we can extend it out. We can pick the side that we want to be the front. It can be either this side here, or it can be this side here. I feel like right now the best side is definitely going to be over this side, but only time will tell if that's correct or not. Yep. Okay. Cool. All right. Let's get the tentacles sorted out. Now, sharp ends in the holes, and then a wiggle. So what I want to do is I want to sort of duplicate what's going on with our existing miniature and sort of shape them like this. So I've given it a bit of a bend, and now I'm going to take it out of the hole now that I've created a bend, so I know roughly where it's going to be. And now I just grab my pliers and do what you normally do, is just crimp and curve it just a little bit to give it a bit of shape. And we're going to create essentially an S shape for this one. And once we've got that way a bit, we go back the other way. Don't be too concerned about it not being absolutely perfect, because you know it can be anything you want. Okay, and the end of it, I feel like the end of it where the suckers are is relatively flat, so I'm not going to bend that around too much. Okay, so that is hopefully going to duplicate what's going on with the first one. Okay, that's the S shape. Very, very simple. Okay. Oops, wrong side. Just wrong side. Trying to get my. I'm going to have to mark where I want the front to be, otherwise I'm going to get lost. We are going to be in the front. Oh, I see what's happened. I think I'm going to have to re-drill a hole. I'm going to re-drill a hole. That hole that I've got there is brought it too far forward for where I want the front to be. So if this is the front, mark this as the front, F, front, so I'll need to re-drill that hole so that I don't have too many problems. Okay, so let's re-drill that hole. Just like so. There's always going to be snags when you're doing something like this. I get snags every time I do a build like this. You're getting it as it's happening. No editing. There we go. Cool. Alright. Like that's probably not the right position now, so I need to bend it around a little bit. Yeah, that'll do. Okay, let's put some glue on that and stick that in. Come on. Feed out, feed out. Give me some glue. There we go. Good, got it. Into the hole. Make sure it's roughly where I want it to be, which it is. And next, the next one is going essentially straight up, but there's a little bit of a twist in it coming forward. So it's going back and then forward. So what I'm going to do is feed that in, bend it back. And I'm not gluing this onto the base yet, because if I try to do that, I'm probably going to wind up finding I can't get at it to wind my bits of tinfoil around, which is why I haven't attached it to the base yet. And then just grab it and do some curves. I'm going to curve it back a little bit. Now the middle one that has the eyes doesn't necessarily have to be as long. Okay, one of the things I did notice about this is it doesn't look like it's anywhere near as long as the other two. So it'll be a bit shorter. This is what it sticks out of the garbage heap when it's hiding, to see if there's anything around to eat. Okay. Alright. And let's just check our distance. Oh, it's pretty close to what I was after. Whoops. There we go, like so. And check it again. A bit more of a twist right there. And check it again. Yep, that's roughly what I was after, and we'll just clip it there. Nothing to it, anybody could do this. This is not hard. That is the middle one, which will go right there. And we'll glue that into position now. I'm just going to just fold that back just a fraction. It'll just make it easy to put things on, attach things to it. Right, glue gun. Like so. And stick it in place. And let it set. Oh, stay in place. I bet I'll have to hold this one. Hold it, Fred, hold it. There we go, just let it set. Cool. Alright, so we just got one more to go, and that'll be the main structure, and then we just need to start attaching tinfoil to it to create a bit of bulk and give it some shape. And after that we're going to put, once it's got the tinfoil over it and it's all glued in place and wrapped around, we'll be using putty as well. Okay, so let's stick this one in that hole and give it a twist. I'm going to twist it back just a fraction, just to give me a point to tell where I need to insert it in the hole. And then we'll grab that miniature and then just give myself an idea of roughly where it needs to be bent. Okay, there we go. Okay, so that's not too bad actually. That worked out pretty quick. Okay, it's a nice curve. And attach, check it. Alright, so I feel like it's got a bit of a twist in it as well, and it's going forward, so it needs to go back and then forward. So I'll give it a twist. Right about there. Back, and then slightly forward. Okay, alright, we're getting there. It's not too bad, maybe a bit more of a curve in the top. So by all means, if you want to chat about other stuff, you can. You don't need to just be watching me making stuff out of wire and bits of wood is not necessarily the most interesting. Okay. There we go. That's not too bad. I feel like that's about right. I just need to get it cut off or trim it, and we're done. I'm ready to glue it in place. Okay. I feel like, how far back do I want to? Go. Alright. We're going to trim it there. I think this piece was like slightly longer than the other one. There we go, done. And it's just a matter of attaching. And we're probably going to have to move that just a fractionally out of the way. What I always find is when you start doing tentacle things on monsters, if they're too close to something else, it makes it really difficult later on to actually work with it if you can't get around it. So, alright, well the shade's coming in. I'll keep it in the centre anyway. And we'll glue that in place. Yep, ready to go. Come on, squeeze out. Good. And then into the hole. In, and then into the right position. Like so. I'll just hold it here, and it should set in a minute or two. Alright, so it's mostly held in place. Now, this isn't going to be enough to hold those bits of wire in place. Okay, it's pretty obvious that those will move around. It's going to happen, absolutely. So what we're going to do is we're going to re-glue them again before we start feeding tinfoil over the top of these. I'll stitch this, we don't need the paper clip. And just clear my area. And while that's sort of setting, I'll just set it over there for now. I'm going to tear up some tinfoil into squares. Most of which need to not just be squares, but you also need sort of long strips as well. Okay, and I'll also need some strips. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold this over. Put that to the side for now, for later on. And I'm going to tear, don't make them too long, otherwise it's really hard to get them round the miniature or the armature. Because essentially all we have done is create an armature for the monster. And all you want is a whole bunch of these strips. Probably about half that length. Okay, alright, we'll come back to doing that in a second, but we're going to bring this back over here, and I'm not going to glue it to the base yet. I've marked where the front is. What I want to do is I want to make sure that these are in the right place, that they're not going to get in each other's way, which they don't, that the legs are going to sit on the base reasonably securely. So if I need to make any adjustments, now is the time to do it. So a little adjustment in the front, I think, is required for the small one, just to make sure it's a bit flatter. So we'll grab the pliers and just straighten just a fraction and we'll check it. Okay, that's good. And then this one here, you can see it's a little bit raised off, so we'll straighten that just a fraction as well. And then check it again. Okay, this one needs to be a little more. The absolute hardest part is getting your feet sorted out on this thing, just because it's got 3 legs. Okay, so that's good. So we're not going to glue this in yet, because once we glue it on, getting paper or tinfoil around those things is going to be impossible. So don't do that. Instead, we're going to make sure that these are all secured properly. So go back around with your glue gun and just feed some glue across them. You can build it up and make it a bit thicker if you want. It's up to you. But the idea is to make sure that what you've got there is good and secure. And for those of you who are wondering, oh, look, can I just build up and create the monster with a hot glue gun? You probably could. The problem of hot glue and trying to build up a monster with just hot glue over wire is it's very hard to get the kind of control that you want out of it. Which is why I'm not doing that. Don't worry about all the straggly bits, keep going. That's why I use a combination of tinfoil wire and putty. Okay. Alright, just let them set for a second. All you're trying to do with those is just make sure there's a good solid connection, nothing else. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing with the legs, but I'm going to go back to tearing my bits of tinfoil. Okay, we're going to need quite a lot of this to deal with the tentacles and the legs because they're quite fat. So be generous with how much you create. Alright, okay, so these should be mostly dry now. That's good, it's alright, it's hard enough. Okay. Alright, so the legs, as you would have noticed, were definitely moving around. So I've been wiggling and moving and repositioning and getting everything involved. So we're going to try to build up and create some stronger connections there now. Not too far though, mostly just trying to attach it to the ball. Like so. Do the same thing again. Spread it. Remember, it doesn't need to be completely exact because it's just connecting it. We're going to be putting stuff over the top of this. This reminds me of the holder that I made. It got really fiddly once I had a few appendages. It's much easier to make a large miniature, or should I say a huge miniature, than a large miniature. And medium-sized miniatures are just, oh, I don't like making them. Okay, give that a blow. And let that set. And I know it doesn't look like much, but it will look like our creature in the end. Well, that's the plan. I just need a drink of water. Everybody's rather quiet today. Okay, so I'm just waiting for this to dry. Once this is dry, I'm going to crack into this. Because I've got to wind so much material around the legs and build up a bit of thickness to it, and that's going to take a bit of time, and so will doing the same thing around here. I don't have to get the exact thickness. What I want to try to achieve though is get fatter sections here closer to the body, and less material here and here and here, and then a big wad at the end, which I can create with putty if I need to. So all of this stuff will go on pretty quickly, for those of you who are wondering. The application of tinfoil is very, very fast. There we go. So I've only got one of these miniatures, so it'll be nice to have another one. Okay, alright, so we should be ready to start getting on with this and actually building up some bulk to it. Alright, so get rid of all the little straggly bits. That's all gone. That's good enough. Okay, alright, we're going to start with the body. So grab the thicker large pieces, break that in half, and all you're doing is just wrap it round the ball. And if you have to break it or cut it, then that's fine too. All we're trying to do is build up the body around it. Now it's going to be a little bit tricky because you've got bits of wire everywhere, so make sure you pack it in nice and tight, the first layer anyway, so that it's fixed to the wire and the ball as much as you can. And you can tear it, that's fine, you can tear through there. If it's going to be easier to wrap it round, then do that. And you're just trying to cover the area because we don't want a round ball for our Otyugh. We want to actually have a bit of we want it to look more organic and less man-made. Okay, so that's the first layer, and do the same thing again. I'll just tear this, make it a little bit smaller, and wrap it again. I know it doesn't look like much, you just got to give it time. Okay, alright, here we go, we're getting there. Feed it on, push in place. If anything isn't attaching properly, like this here isn't really sort of sticking in place, then you just fold back that leaf, grab your hot glue gun, put a dab of glue there, and then just press it down and it will hold it. And you don't need to worry about it coming off. Real simple. Same thing again, just keep building it up. Now remember, the entire bulk of the creature doesn't have to be built up with tinfoil. You are still going to be using some sort of putty, and if you're not using putty and you decide to use your hot glue gun and just cover it, then that's what you can use to build up the bulk. You don't have to do it all with the tinfoil. Okay, like so. Very good. We're getting there. That is the front. That is the. So now with this creature, you'll notice it's not like a ball. It does have sort of some things sticking out of it. You know, it's got a jaw either side. So we want to try and create something like that, and then we're going to attach it onto the front. Okay. So I think we'll layer it just a little. Yeah, I think we'll give it another layer, and then we'll build in the front section. I don't need that, it's gone. And I think I'm going to have to do just a blob of glue just to keep that piece staying in place. Press that down. Okay, very good. Okay, and I'm going to ball up a piece like so, flatten it out a little bit. I'm just going to glue that into the back. Okay, just to give it a bit of a backside, essentially. And then grab my tin foil and wrap it. And is it going to come loose there? No, it's not. That's all right. I'll do that again. Wrap it again. Okay. I keep forgetting that when I do these builds, everybody's sort of either doing their own thing, or they're all very, very quiet. I feel like I'm alone again. There's nobody around. I'm so alone. Alone again. Playing with my bits of tinfoil. Okay, right, I'm just gonna glue that in place. There we go. And press that down. Okay, so We've got a bit of a backside now. It's not quite what I was after, but we'll deal with it later. Let's start dealing with the front, because the front just doesn't look right. We need it to look like there's like two big huge mouthy bits. So grab your tin foil, your squares, and all I want you to do is just fold over one and then just roll it up lightly, don't do it tight. The same thing with the other one. Flaccid cactus, flaccid cactus. You're not alone. We are just paying very close attention. Haha. Well, you know, flaccid cactus, and it's a great name, by the way. I am so nervous because this is like the first time I've ever had to do this. So I have to actually get it right the first time round, eh? Otherwise it doesn't look right. It's like, what have you done, Fred? What have you done? Okay. So I'm just pressing that down, and I'm going to create a section at the top to represent the top section. Do the same thing with the bottom, and then just fold you over, fold you in half. Has that gone over enough? I feel like it might have. Alright, so I'm going to stick that in place. Stick both of those in place, obviously. Whoa, glue everywhere. Let's just pile it on. There we go. Oh, there we go, and do it again. Now I've left a bit of a space, if you haven't noticed, in between them. Yep. There's a reason behind that, because I kind of want the mouth open. If I can make the mouth open, I'm definitely going to do it. Absolutely going to have to do that. Okay, so these are going to set in a second. They're pretty much set now. I'm going to start wrapping around the tentacles. I'm going to come back to the front section and just wind round fairly quickly. Remember, we want to build up the fatness near the body first before we start dealing with the end of it, and just crunch it in and get ourselves a nice tentacle. And same thing again. Actually, I might, well, no, we'll just do it around here. Do it around here. Get it on. Get that stuff on, right? Wind around. You can see how technical this is. How's it going, Carcass? Heck man, what kind of paints will you use? Vallejo. I'll use those. And some will be the Citadel, but I don't use Citadel very much because I don't like opening their tops. You open the top and the paint just goes everywhere. I like the squeezy bottles. So yeah, that was my intention. I won't be able to do any painting until the weather gets a bit cooler, but all these miniatures that I've been making, we will eventually get round to painting, and then I will do some, what do you call it, like a hero video, or a very short video just showing you the final product, and sort of maybe explaining how I built them. That's what I was hoping to do anyway. Alright, so wrapping that round. Remember, it doesn't need to be exact. We can fix it all up with putty later. And if anything isn't sticking in place like this doesn't want to stay in place, just grab the flap, bit of glue, and then whack it in here like so, and then burn yourself. No, I'm only kidding, don't burn yourself. And then glue it down. Come on, you. Just glue in there. Alright, doesn't seem very solid. I need to attach it with another piece. That's what I need to do. Look, the only reason I've done this like that is to give me an idea of perspective of where the front is. Otherwise I'm going to get lost. Yeah. Ain't fingers great? Squeeze them, push them, wrangle them. Come here. Alright. We're getting it around there. It's getting on. Ah, well, that worked. Well, that's better than I thought it would. Okay, now I want to build up near the body because it still looks a bit too thin. We don't need to make it as thick as the final product because that's what the putty will be for. Oh, that looked like a bit of buffering taking place. Does that mean that the stream is losing its strength? No, it seems to be alright. That's good. And we're up to roughly an hour, so I need to get my arse into gear, don't I? I really need to get moving. Oh, can't say that word. Forgot about that. No, no bad words. Bottom, bottom. There we go. I knew the tentacles would get in the way when I was trying to put tinfoil on. Knew it. Absolutely, every time. It happens every single time. Okay, squeeze that in good. And I'm going to stick that down because that's coming free a little bit. Come here, come here. Like so, and then she's in place. Voila. Oh, bits of hairy bits everywhere. Okay, so basic structure for that one is there. We just need to keep doing the other ones. As you can see, applying the tinfoil around the tentacles is not a very slow process. You can get it on there pretty quick. There's a reason why I said don't make them too long, because you've got to try to get them round. The longer it is, the harder it is. And there we go. Squeezy squeezies, like so. And that is coming free, so I'm going to just grab some glue for that. And press it down. Okay. Keep going. Oh, come here. Get in there. Get round. Want it nice and a bit thinner here, closer to where the end of it is. But it's kind of a bit fatter than I was hoping. Oh well, never mind. It's too late now. I'll move it into the centre so you guys can see. I'm sorry if I've put it off to the side. Now that the shade is sort of set in. If the lighting isn't good enough, unfortunately there's not much more I can do, because I've got lights pointing at the work area, and I've brought the camera in as close as I possibly can. Okay. Alright, that's another one. Bits of glue attaching to me, can't get off. La da dee dee, da 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 dee. Alright. Good. And we'll do that again. It's amazing what you can do with a bit of tinfoil, isn't it? Who would have guessed? A bit of tinfoil, a bit of putty, a couple of paper clips. go. Okay, so that's not too bad. I feel like that one could probably do with a bit more on the end, so I will. Just like so. Squeeze it on. Alright, nice. Okay, let's build up the base section around here. This is just a bit too thin, so we need more around there. Try to squeeze it on pretty tight so you don't have too many pockets of air. It'll lock it into place a lot better. Do that again. And just crunch it in there. There, squeeze, whoops, there we go, and next. Alright, it's starting to sort of look roughly what I was after. I'm going to just take a piece, I'm going to fold it so I can get a fatter section near the base of the body, and then I'll wrap it around. Alright. Okay, is that enough? I feel like I could probably put more on. Mr. Tentacle Man, Tentacle. Orange Void, hello Orange Void. I was wondering when we'd meet up again. I saw your comment on YouTube. How's your day? How are you doing? Okay, that's working well. So near the base of the body, when you need it thicker, definitely folding these strips is working really good for me. So I'm going to keep doing that. What's that, Orange Void? Heh. Good, thanks. Oh, good. So what are you up to right now? You joining me in making something, or are you busy at work and trying to find some time to watch this while you're in the middle of doing something else? Okay, so that's not too bad. All right, let's do the center one. Remember, this is the center one is got the eyes on the end of it, so it can look a little bit different. Scrunch it on. I'm getting brutal now. I just want to get the tin foil on. Get it on. Oh. Scrunch it in. Build you up. Come on, you. Like so. You'd be surprised, all that tin foil that I tore up, it's almost all gone. There isn't too much left. we go. Oh, you think I was actually having to work hard. Okay, right, so folding near the body, that worked well last time, so we keep doing that to build up the base section. Oh, there we go. Go on round, get on around there. Get on around there, little boy. Get on around there, little doggy. Come on, little doggy, get around. Alright. It's looking better. It's not looking great, but it's looking better. Yeah, it's always going to look bad to start off with. Give it time. Once we get a bit of putty on it, it'll look a little bit more like a creature. And I'm thinking I should absolutely put something like a tongue in it. So I think we should give it a tongue. But what I will do is when I make the tongue, I will glue the tongue in, but make it out of putty, so it's reasonably durable. What's that orange void? Is the one in the bottom right of the screen the one you made? No, I haven't made any. I have never made one of these things before. This is the very first time I've ever made one. This is just a miniature I'm trying to duplicate. Does that make sense? This is bought this, the one on the screen in the corner there, that miniature is bought. So we're trying to, I guess because miniatures are becoming more and more expensive, I'm trying to do videos that show people how to make their own, so they don't have to go and buy them, particularly since the price just keeps skyrocketing. The day will come when nobody will be able to afford them, and they're like, what do they do then? Not unless you've got heaps and heaps of money. Nowadays I won't be having heaps and heaps of money, so I'll probably be making most of my own miniatures. Alright, there we go. Yeah, I thought it was a cool idea. I thought, you know, nobody else seems to be doing it. I have absolutely no idea how to make miniatures or monsters, but that won't stop me. It hasn't stopped me doing anything else, so yeah. Alright, here we go. I feel like that is starting to come loose a little bit, so I'm going to grab a bit of glue and glue that one in place. I should have done that before anyway. Alright, let's do it now. Like so, and just wrap it around so it's glued in place. Done. What's that orange void? Yeah, I don't really play with miniatures because they are so expensive. Yeah, that's the big problem, you know. Why would you use them if you just can't afford them because they're so expensive? Depending on where you are in the world, they might even be unobtainable. I notice there are some places that you just can't get them shipped to. Or the price on them is so horrific that it's just, you know, you're sort of stuck with make it your own and make your own, or just don't have them. Okay, alright, so that's got most of the tentacle structure done. And I feel like it's definitely time to start dealing with the legs. So I'm going to start building up the leg sections. It doesn't really have a foot as such. I mean, their feet are sort of almost joined into their leg, so it doesn't matter if it kind of looks a bit elephantish. That's fine. It can be elephantish. What's that? Sorry, I missed that. Sorry, you guys have been talking and I missed it. Carson, how long have I been playing? Oh, well, I've been playing for about 10 years. I started out playing Hero Quest, you know, just a board game. I had the books for years, so I had Advanced Dungeons and Dragons books, which I gave away, unfortunately. I had them for years. Back when I was about 20, 19, 20. I never really thought much of Dungeons and Dragons when I was at school. I was certainly told about it, but I didn't really consider it a game that I wanted to play. It wasn't until later on, after I got tired of playing war games, tabletop war games, I just like, nah, I've had enough of this. I tried Dungeons and Dragons, and yeah, it's been good for me. And well, generally it's been good for me. Oh right, the question was for Orange Void. Sorry about that. Couple of weeks. You've been playing for a couple of weeks, Orange Void. Oh, well, that's cool. New players, new DMs, always excellent. I've got a soft spot for new players and new DMs. Always have. So, I know it doesn't look like I have any kind of technique going on. It doesn't feel like I do. I'm just trying to squish something on there right now. Carson, at House of D&D, what is your favourite Ed edition? Truthfully, I would say that 5th Ed edition is my favourite, but 5th Ed edition is not the game that I had hoped for. I've had people ask me this question before. I was involved in the alpha play test for Dungeons and Dragons Next, or D&D 5e, and one of the things I'd hoped is they'd create a game that you could play with a 5-year-old, you know, stripped down, and then add bits onto the machine for those people who wanted a more complex game, so that those people who had to stop playing Dungeons and Dragons because they were playing, you know, they had to look after their kids as they grew up, could reintroduce them to the game before they started sort of getting hooked on it, you know, like video games and the internet and all that sort of stuff. So that didn't happen, unfortunately. So Dungeons and Dragons 5e is not the game I had hoped for, but is the best we've got at present as far as I'm concerned. That's not to say that I didn't enjoy playing 3.5 or Pathfinder. I did for a while. I did enjoy playing those games, and I would have probably stuck with 3.5 as long as my Dungeon Master hadn't insisted on going to 4th Ed edition. We bought all the books and everything, but you know, that's how it is. That's sort of part of the deal, isn't it? Sometimes you shift to a system and you don't like it, and then it's too late, and then you've got to make a decision where you go back, or you use the books that you already bought. And I made the decision to use the books that I'd already bought. Okay, so we are trying very carefully to build up the leg section on this, and they're quite thick. The legs aren't exactly spindly, so I just need to squeeze it in tighter, get a nice chunky bit on there, like so. And do that again. Actually, I might just bend that over. That's been working, that's thickening it up quite nicely. Does that answer your question, Carson? Is that, what is your favourite version of Dungeons and Dragons? Is there a particular version of the game that you really enjoyed? I'd still regret giving away my Advanced Dungeons and Dragons books. I gave them away to somebody who I knew would like them and seemed to be interested, but now that I've done it, I really do regret doing it. Mainly because of the Advanced Dungeons and Dragons Monster Manual. I just really wanted to have the Monster Manual again, and I just don't have it anymore, so it's kind of a drag. But what are you going to do? These things happen. Make decisions and you live with them. Okay. Alright, so I'm just going to squeeze this on as tight as I can. Alright, so that's not so bad. I'm just going to tear off some more tinfoil. And I want to build the front section. So what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to ball up some tin foil, just lightly. And I also want to create like a mouth cavity. So I'm going to shove my thumb in here to create the mouth section, and then squeeze the rest of it around it, as if I was creating a ball around my thumb. Does that make sense? Hopefully it does. So if you can see what I'm doing, I'm essentially trying to create a cap for my thumb. Yeah. What's that, Carson? I like 3.5 a little, but I prefer 5e because it's what I know. Yeah, well, I think it's a good version because it's a little bit simpler, although it is getting more complicated every day. The more they add to it, it's one of those things that does tend to happen with all systems. Doesn't matter what it is. Okay, all right. So that should be the front section of our monster, where his mouth will be. Just going to flatten the back of it and see if I attach it, is it going to build it out too far? Oh, maybe I put my thumb there and then squish it down, get the shape I want. There we go. Here's a little teacup, short and stout. Okay. Alright, so I feel like that is certainly the beginning of the structure for the front. So we're just going to check it. Do I want it up? Do I want it down? I think that's good enough. Alright, so let's glue this little sucker on, and then I'll build the rest of it around there. Yeah, it'll look a lot better when there's putty over it and I've covered it a bit. And I've also got to make sure that I don't add too much weight to the front, and that'll cause all sorts of hassles. Okay, alright, so while that is drying, I will wrap some more tinfoil around that. I'm going to create some more thin bits. That's what we've got so far. Okay, alright, so let's deal with the front section. Is that about the right size? Shove my... Let's break that off again. Is that going to work better if I go that way? Maybe it will. Yep, let's do that. And we'll just wrap it over the top. You won't even know. You won't even know that I just stuck that piece on there. There we go. Like so. And then fold that into there. Fold that down into there as well. Not bad, it looks all rightish. We will just put some glue in there to make sure it doesn't come away from there. Like so, and yeah, that's that side done. Whoa. cleaning off my tool. Alright, so another piece of tin foil, and we'll wrap that around the bottom. Same thing as before. Part of it in the mouth, part of it around the body. And in the mouth as well. Squeeze it, squeeze it, squeeze it into place. Alright, I'm going to just glue the top join there so it stays there. Sorry, I turned it away from the camera. I'm not supposed to do that, I'm supposed to point it at the camera, right? So you can actually see what's going on. It's getting a little bit overbalanced. It's going to need to be weighted, I think, maybe at the back. Okay. Alright. Just keep wrapping the legs. Come here. Tear it in half. Maybe that'll help. Yep, it's working fine. Let's keep going. Oh, trickier than it looks sometimes. Okay, I think I'm going to have to glue that down, otherwise it's going to move. Just like so. I'll glue it in there as well. Okay. Sticky bits of glue everywhere. So now that I've started wrapping tin foil around things, the balance has changed because I put a lot more of weight in the front. It's going to mean I'm going to have to reposition the legs a little bit. This. Kind of lost the knees. They've sort of blended in with all of the tin foil I've added. Apart from maybe that one, you can just make out the knee there. And right. Okay. Okay, alright, let's keep going. Let's get the main bulk of this done so we can move on, eh? What's that? Carson at House of D&D, what is your favourite monster? Have to be the Mimic. I enjoyed making the Mimic door. We made a Mimic out of a door into a Mimic, and that was a lot of fun. I haven't gotten round to figuring out how I want to do a treasure chest or a barrel Mimic, but I will eventually. and we'll do them as well. So I would say mimics because they can disguise themselves as something else. And the bread and butter of any dungeon master when it comes to monsters is surprise. The goal is to surprise and scare them. It's not to take out their characters, it's to surprise and scare them. And mimics do that very nicely. But to be fair, I like all monsters. I've always enjoyed monsters. Not so much interested in NPCs, but I like Dungeons and Dragons, which is about monsters for me. Which is why I actually kind of really do enjoy making these things. I like making stuff full stops, but the monsters are one of the more fun things in this channel, even if they are really time consuming. Okay. Right, well, I feel like it's totally out of balance, which is to be expected because it doesn't look like a particularly balanced miniature anyway. And the legs are they roughly the same size? I feel like one of them is just a little bit smaller than the others. Maybe I'll just build him up a little bit more in the front. Like so. Just build that up. Okay. Alright, so this is the basic structure. And there's more to be done, obviously. What I'm going to do just quickly is just put a bit of glue in certain places just to make sure all the tinfoil is in and secure. And I'm going to use this as the structure. This isn't the creature itself. Okay, this is just the structure to help put the putty on. So we've got a mouth section where I can put some teeth in there, which will be nice. And we'll either glue those in or drill holes and set them later once the putty's on. We've got our tentacle for the eyes. We've got the tentacles that'll be doing the grabbing, and we've got our 3 legs which look completely messed up. But hopefully I can sort that out later on. But let's just quickly go over it and just clean up anything that needs to be secured. And I'm going to probably spread the glue a lot so that it does stay in place, and build up some sections where there's a couple of hollows. Like so. Around, glue gun, another gun, another stick, stick another stick in there, glue gun, here we go. Should have known it was going to run out. I've been using quite a lot of it today. Okay. Still, it's cheaper than some of the other options, right? And then just spread it, and back end looks a little like it's pointed. So I'm going to just add a bit of glue onto the back, just add a bit of bulk. Like so. And add a bit of glue there and just cover it. I'm just looking for the seams in the tinfoil to make sure that I don't have anything come apart on me. Okay, there's maybe one more here. Alright, I think that will do for today. So that's our basic structure. Looks terrible, I realise. I do realise that it doesn't look fantastic, but it will get better once we start putting some putty on it and making some changes. And also too, it'll give me an opportunity to figure out how to rebalance it and get it so it looks a little bit more like the original miniature, which is going to be a little bit tricky. Sometimes it takes me a little bit of time to figure these things out. But if you found this video helpful or informative, please share and like the video. And hey, if you aren't already subscribed, then hit the subscribe button on my channel or underneath the video, and hit the bell button on my channel beside the subscribe button or underneath this video to get notified when I do new videos. And I do videos and live streams quite a lot, so you should see something pretty much every single day. And there's bound to be something you're interested in, even if you're not interested in everything that I do. On top of that, if you want to support my channel, then watch more of my videos. I've got heaps and heaps of these videos, all sorts of topics for players and dungeon masters and crafting, and not just crafting miniatures. I do lots of different topics. I don't do Patreon, but down in the description you'll find all of the materials and tools that I used, and affiliate links if you want to buy these things online. If you don't already have them, I get a small commission and you pay exactly the same price. If you have any questions or feedback, maybe you've made yourself an Otyugh, maybe you've made one of these creatures before, maybe you have a better system for doing it, let me know. Put that in the chat comments, because now you can actually have a look and watch what other people have been saying during a video, which is a great addition. But if you're not part of the live stream, you can also leave a comment down in the comments section and ask any questions you might have. If there's anything you've done yourself in terms of making monsters, by all means. If you make your own Otyugh, then give me a link to the picture or the video that you produce that shows me how you did it. I'm really interested. I've had a few people do that, and it's really cool to see people making their own monsters based on what they see my videos doing. So absolutely do that. If you really find this sort of content super helpful, then giving me suggestions about what to do next is going to be useful to me. We will come back to this. I just need to let this dry. It'll probably be about Thursday, New Zealand Standard Time, when I'll be able to return to this, because this is quite a long stream. You know, making monsters is always a long process, takes a lot longer than all of the other video content that I do. So it should be about Thursday, New Zealand Standard Time, and we will return to making this monster. And hey, till next time, keep rolling those 20s. Alright, I've got to go now, guys. We will catch up with you later.